Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals and welcome back to my channel and to another Plan With Me video. This week I am planning the week of the 2nd of June in my A5 wide Tilly Journals inserts, which is my shop, which is linked down below or is tillyjournals.com. So I am using this Pride Magic kit from Plannerface. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can get a discount by using Tilly to save 10%, and I do get a discount for promoting her stickers. My foil bundle is also actually from Plannerface, and it is this gorgeous heart hollow foil bundle, and then I have underlays from my own shop. So I have solid teal underlays and also sorry, I am knackered today, and doodle hearts in holographic. And actually I'm well impressed with this because not intentionally, but the underlays actually look quite like the bottom washi and overlay. It wasn't intentional at all. It was just, I was like, oh, the doodle hearts would look good with this kit, and yeah, that's how it ended up, and I am very happy about it. So as I said, this was the week of the 2nd of June. I'm just using a Pride kit to celebrate Pride. I am LGBTQ+, so of course I do have to celebrate Pride in my planner, although I am in a cisgendered heterosexual relationship, but that does not change the fact that I am LGBT. There are 3 extenders on this week, on Monday, Friday and Sunday, and also on Saturday there is no full box. The day extender on Friday, I needed so much space that it only has 1 full box on it, so I was glad there were lots of full boxes in this kit. So that was always a good shout. I absolutely love the Dalmatian that is on Friday's box. It's super cute. This art is by Clip Art Kits and I absolutely love her art. She is probably my favourite artist at the moment, and I think they are her illustrations are stunning. She's also probably the most consistent artist in the planner community at the moment because of everything that's going on within the planner community. I mean, Kitnish Jess also releases art, but Nella Clip Art Kits releases it quite frequently as well, so and probably with more frequency than Kitnish Jess. So there's that. But they're probably my top 2 artists at the moment. Though I did see Lily Art Desk is releasing a kit for the first time in ages, called Teddy Bear or something. So yeah. The other one that I love is Lovey Lovers Art, but this isn't meant to be a ramble about art shops that I like, but that's what it's turned into apparently. So what have I got to say about this spread? So I've gone over the base and things. In my sidebar I had lots to celebrate this week. So the first thing that I mark is my highlight of the week, which is that Bayla rolls over for the first time. She was exactly 2 months old when she did this, and she actually rolled from her front to her back. We think that basically she did it so early because she gets so high in tummy time, she just sort of flung herself over, but she can now very consistently do this at just under 4 months, and she's very definitely trying to roll from her back to her front as well. She can get quite far onto her side, but she just can't do that last little bit. She's not worked out how to do it yet, but we're getting there. So it was very exciting. It was actually whilst I was at a baby class, which is Little B, which if anybody is local to me is excellent for prenatal and postnatal classes. She does perinatal pregnancy yoga. I'm just using medical words. Pregnancy yoga. She also does postnatal yoga, which she's doing a mini course at the moment. I might join in the next one depending how my foot is going. Yeah. So yeah, that's when she rolled over. The other things in my sidebar is that I was feeling not very well this week. I had mastitis, and I went to the doctors on Tuesday, but I'd been feeling unwell for sort of a couple of days before that, and my breast had been inflamed and things. Breastfeeding is one of the most rewarding things ever, but nobody talks about how hard it is and like how genuinely hard it is. Like, people just say, oh, I tried and I gave up, but they don't talk about like the challenge, the actual challenges, like of oversupply, undersupply, the emotional, hormonal changes involved in it. Yes, the bonding is fantastic and I wouldn't change it for the world, but I have had thrush 3 times now. I think I've got it again. I've got cracking in my nipples and it's very sore at the moment. I don't know whether it's thrush or whether it's just Bayla's latch hasn't been great. So there's that. I've had mastitis twice, and as well as that I've had several blocked ducts outside of that, and yeah, it's not been easy at times. Bayla hasn't fed very well at times. It's a really hard journey, but it is so fulfilling at the same time. But also, this baby, you don't have any time off. You are constantly on call, and again, that's fine, but it is exhausting. But anyway, Bayla also had her first set of vaccines on Friday, and so was a little bit miserable on Friday and Saturday. She has actually just had her third set at the recording of this video, so I'm recording this the Friday before it comes out. So we've just had vaccines, and now she is asleep on my chest. So if you do hear her sleep sounds, or if she wakes up and cries, she is my baby. I'm not going to apologise for her, but she is there. I can just hear her breathing at the moment, but you probably can't. The camera is probably editing it out. Anyway, the other things in my sidebar are the 2 books that I read this week, so I am going to get into those. The first one is Lore Olympus Volume 3, and I gave this 4 stars. So I gave the first Lore Olympus 4.5, the second 5, and this one 4. I felt like, so for those of you that don't know, Lore Olympus is a set of graphic novels telling the love story of Hades and Persephone. It was initially released on Webtoon, and I believe you can actually still read it on Webtoon, but there is a lot of adverts and things, so you know, she is now releasing them as books as well. They are hardcover and they are absolutely beautiful art. So I'm currently slowly reading my way through those, and I finished book 3 this week, and I really did enjoy it, but I did feel it a little bit like it was a filler book and not that much happened, so I didn't enjoy it as much as the previous 2, but the art is stunning, and I do so far highly recommend the series. I haven't read 4 or 5 yet, but I tend to read them in each volume in about 2 days, so I clearly enjoy it because I read them pretty quickly. The other book I finished this week was Under Lock and Key, which I gave 2.5 stars. I think partly because I wasn't expecting it to be romantasy, or some people would call this magical realism because it's set in the real world rather than a fantasy world. Just to warn you, Bayla has just woken up, so there is more chance you will hear her, but hopefully, because I'm just talking, she will just stay chill. But yeah, I don't think I was expecting that when I picked it up, because I got it via Illumicrate's romance, Afterlight, that's what it's called. I read it via that. I got it via that, so I hadn't really read the blurb or anything. I just went into it wanting a book set near water for a reading prompt. So that's what I did. So essentially this is about Kiana and Lachlan. Kiana is lived in America most of her life, but her family is from Scotland, from near where the Loch Ness Monster is rumoured to be, and Lachlan still lives there when Kiana comes back after her dad dies to try and make amends and get to know her dad's family, who he was out of touch with. She meets Lachlan and he immediately seems to dislike her despite working on her grandparents' farm, and it's basically a rivals to lovers romance with magical realism / fantasy. And to be honest, I wasn't that sure about it. I don't want to say what I didn't enjoy about the smut scenes, but there was one smut scene I was like, this is not for me at all, because it is a spoiler if I say why I didn't enjoy it. But yeah, so that's why I gave it 2.5 stars. I probably won't keep the book, to be honest. I will probably sell it on Vinted. I do need to do some Vinted selling at some point, but we'll see when I get to that. So that is it for my sidebar. So I am now going to get into the day by day. I'm hoping that somebody will be on the driveway. Is not somebody going to ring the doorbell, but we will see. Nope, it's just post through the letterbox. That's absolutely fine. We can deal with that. So on to the day by day. On Monday I started the day with my morning routine, so this is just the bits and pieces I do to set my day off right, including doing some apps like Duolingo and Headspace. Then I did some planning. I don't think I had planned for this week on the Sunday, so I did just plan for this week. I've just seen Kiara making an appearance in the video, and she is actually sitting with me whilst I record this voiceover, so that's actually kind of cute. I then called the doctors and dentist. I didn't manage to get a dental appointment that day, and honestly I gave up for a bit, and then I have lots of dental woes coming up in future videos. The doctors I also haven't sorted because it was... Have I? Oh no, I have. Because I was booking blood tests, but I wanted to book them for both me and my husband, so it was just easier to ring than to fill in a form online. And then I had to I then filmed our haul. Later that day we had our health visitor to come and visit to see Bayla, and she got weighed and measured and things, and she was weighing 7.2 kilograms, which put her on the 25th centile, and has a 75th centile head. So her head is bigger than average with a smaller than average length and weight, which is kind of amusing, and she literally is just staring at me talking to her and giving me a little smile, and now I'm looking at her. After that I did design the script for that previous week's plan with me. I try and do that on a Monday because I do find it as quite a endless job, so I do try and do it on the Monday. Then I did some grocery shopping, and when I got back I then just did the books for the week before as well. Again, I try and do those on a Monday. Went for a walk to get my steps in, did some crochet, and had some playtime with Bayla, which was very lovely. On to Tuesday. This is the day I woke up feeling really quite poorly and not myself. I did have a bit of a lie-in to try and make myself feel better, but it wasn't that successful. Then I did some printing and cutting, probably of the books and scripts that I had finished the day before, but I don't know, because yes, I then worked on my reading journal, so that would make sense. Then in the afternoon I did have Rebecca, who is my care coordinator, come to visit us. And after she had gone, sorry, Bayla just yawned and it made me yawn. It made me yawn, didn't it? After Rebecca had gone, I contacted the doctors because my breast was getting worse, and went to see them and got some antibiotics for mastitis, and they said I could either start taking them there and then, or I could wait and see whether it got worse. By that evening it was really red and hot, so my husband advised that I start taking them, and I did. So that's that. To finish off the day I did some crocheting and I did do some reading. On to Wednesday, I still was feeling quite unwell this day. I did some editing, had lots of cuddles and feeding with Bayla, my little baby, my gorgeous girly. Then was working on, did some more grocery shopping. Sometimes we seem to go grocery shopping about 6 times a week, and others I try and just go twice a week, Thursday and over the weekend, because I'm always out of the house on the Thursday for one thing or another, so I try to just go those 2 days. And if we go Thursday, Sunday, they're both Aldi's special buy days, so we get to see the special buys on the day they come out. Anyway, after that I did work on some orders. I was trying to get through my orders at this point, from the planner launch and things, so I was working on those. Then I did some crochet. We gave Bayla a surprise bath, which actually seems to work better for us than doing it just before bed. She's happier when she has a surprise bath. And then we read Lore Olympus in the evening. What I mean by a surprise bath is it doesn't fit into a routine anywhere. It's just oh, you need an outfit change because you do, and so let's just bath you now. On to the Thursday, we'd had a bad night overnight, and my mum came over to help in the morning before I went off to Rhyme Time, which is a class at the library which Bayla really loves, and we try to go to every week. It's actually on a Tuesday because we now have something else regularly on a Thursday morning. We're trying to go to Rhyme Time on a Tuesday and to the other class on a Thursday. Then when I got home I did film a plan with me, and then I had an appointment with Chloe, who is one of the nursery nurses, and we had a bit of a chat about what we wanted to do and what we were going to do with what I was going to do with her. So we decided we were going to do some baby massage, but we didn't start it that week because we couldn't, because Bayla had just eaten, and you can't do it immediately after eating. Then oh jeez, I am yawning a lot. I do apologise for that. However, this is the second time I filmed this voiceover, because the first time I filmed it was earlier today, and I was so out of it that I kept talking complete gibberish and saying things that didn't make sense, and I think I was literally falling asleep half dreaming and then saying things related to the dream, and like honestly it was the most chaotic voiceover I've ever filmed in my life, and I was like, I cannot upload this. So here we are. I didn't think I'd get another chance to film it, and I was like, sod it, that can just go up. But here we are. We have had another chance to feed it and Bayla to record it, and Bayla has actually gone back to sleep because she clearly was not ready to wake up. So I do hopefully be able to get through the rest of this voiceover. So yes, I then worked on orders for the rest of the day, and obviously was doing more feeding with Bayla. I probably spend an average of about 5 to 6 hours a day feeding Bayla, based on some tracking I have done. So it is a good chunk of my day. I do try and do things whilst I'm feeding her, but I can't always. So I do just like to generally mark it in once a day to remind me that like actually breastfeeding takes a lot of my day up. So we are then on to the super busy Friday. So I was absolutely knackered this morning. I don't know why, I just was. Probably, I generally find I'm not that tired after the first night after a rough day. The first day after a rough night, but the following day I'm absolutely knackered. And Bayla had her first set of vaccines. After her vaccines we had some nice cuddles and milk to try and cheer her up a bit. These ones you did need to give Calpol immediately afterwards, so we did do that. When I got home I did some editing and a voiceover. Well, I tried to, but Bayla was waking up and just not 100% happy, so I gave up on recording that for them. We then went to Baby Brunch Club, which was a Father's Day themed crafty baby brunch club, and it was so much fun. So there's basically lots of playtime for the kiddos, and then like mums were talking and there was food and stuff, and it was really lovely. So Bayla had lots of playtime, and she did 2 things for the first time, both of which were really exciting. So the first thing she did is more appropriate for her 2 month of age. She was 2 months on this day. She grabbed onto a toy and held it and brought it up to herself so she could look at it, which is like gross motor skill, which is so exciting that she was hitting that. And then she hit an even more impressive gross motor skill. Essentially she managed to roll over, as I said earlier in the video. So she rolled from her front to her back, she gets really high in tummy time, and she just kind of flung herself over, and she did it 3 times. So the first time I was like, you can't have just done that. So I put her back on her tummy to have more tummy time, and she did it again. And so the third time I tried to record it, and I managed to record it for my husband because he was at work. So it was really nice that I managed to get that. Then while we were at Baby Brunch Club, we were doing some crafts. So we made a little sign for the wall that says your first Father's Day as my daddy, and has Bayla's handprint on. Then we did a footprint little wood plaque thing that says love you to the moon and back, and the footprint is made into a little rocket. And then we also did a card with a footprint and making a hammer saying love building memories with you. So I thought all of those were really cute and nice presents to give my husband, Bayla's dad, for Father's Day. When we got home, Bayla was absolutely inconsolable after a little nap. The Calpol from the morning after her vaccines was clearly wearing off, because she had about 20 minutes before she could have more Calpol, but she then calmed down after about an hour, so about 20 minutes before her Calpol. Then I managed to give her a Calpol, and she was still inconsolable for a little bit. After that she did have a nap, so I did manage to record that voiceover that I had been trying to do earlier in the day, so that was good. Then I worked on my orders. I try to cook dinner on a Friday because my husband does a 10-hour work shift, so I just try to make it a bit fairer by cooking, and then I spent the evening dissociating because I was absolutely knackered after a very busy day. On to Saturday, we had our bloods to see which of us is a carrier for cystic fibrosis, because Bayla is a carrier, and so we need to know whether we both are or whether just one of us is, and also so that when we know which of it is it's most likely to be me, because it is generally a Caucasian disease. So when we know that our siblings can be informed and they can make a decision as to whether they want to be tested. So there's that. Then after that we had lots of cuddles and milk, and we had some playtime on the playmat with Bayla. I replied to messages and worked on planner files for the orders that I was working on. I was really tired this day, and so I went for a little nap with let my husband let me go for a nap, took Bayla for a while. In the evening we went for a date night at the new pizza place in town, which is called Sebby's, and is 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. They also do charcuterie boards and things like that, and it was really good food. Then for the rest of the date night we did do an escape game. It was really confusing at first, and Bayla wasn't very happy. She was quite unsettled, and it was just really hard to concentrate. So to be honest, we did not get very far this night, and it was a bit of a stressful end to the date night, but that's okay. Sometimes with a baby these things are unpredictable, and yes, we do want to have some date nights where somebody else is looking after Bayla at some point, but I am not quite ready for that yet. I do not like Bayla not being within my hearing at the moment. It's not like anxiety, but I want to be near her. So on to Sunday, which filming Tilly is about halfway through already. I started the day by doing some odd jobs, just little bits and pieces around the house that needed doing, and then I recorded a voiceover, did lots of cuddles and milk. As I've said, it is a good chunk of my day feeding Bayla, so I do like to mark it in. Then I caught up with some book reviews because I was quite behind at this point. Worked on making planner covers for the orders I was working on. I try and batch the tasks for making planners because otherwise it just takes such a long time. Did some crochet, went for a walk to get our steps in. I then did some admin for HMRC, which I can't remember what I was doing. I don't know, but anyway, I had to do some admin for HMRC. Then we did some more of our escape game, and it made much more sense to stay, and it was a lot better, and we really enjoyed it. It was again Bayla's bath time, so we did that, and then we had some nice family cuddles of skin to skin, which is always my favourite bit about bath night. And then finished off the day by planning the following week, and that is everything for the week. I've just found a random sticker there. I'd lost my bath sticker, so just sticking that back down, and you can see the gorgeous hollow foil wiggle there. And here are my leftovers. As it's a Plannerface kit, there is plenty of leftovers left, and I got that extra colour. Here is what is left in the kit. Comment, like down below, leave me a little rainbow in the comments if you got to the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!